Hello and welcome to a new season of the Scott Ballard Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Sports Information Director Cory Prudoehl, joined as always by head coach Scott Ballard. Thanks for joining us again this year.
It's good to be back, Cory.
Absolutely. Already season's in full swing, 6 games in the book, 3 conference games. Just got back from a road trip. We went 1-1. Talk about how you think your team's performed so far this year.
Well, you know, we're 6-1 right now, which is a good start, and you know, we've played a few Division III schools and a couple of NAIA schools, and now we've played 3 Division II schools. So our competition has been gradually getting stronger as the season goes along, and it's going to continue to be that way going into Christmas. 3 of our next 4 games will be against you know, 3 of the top teams in the league in the preseason coaches poll. But you know, I like where we're at. We still have a lot of room for improvement. I've said this many times, we're still a work in progress. We're learning more about our team each day in practice and with each you know, experience in competition. We've played against some zone. We played against a lot of man. We've played against some size and some speed. And this next weekend we're going to play against both at the same time. So it's going to be a big challenge, but something that we're looking forward to. It makes us better, and you know, we learned a lot about ourselves this past weekend playing at Southwest and Sioux Falls, and we split like you mentioned. We won at Southwest, and they strictly played man-to-man, and we basically you know, exposed their weaknesses defensively. We got the ball in the lane a lot to our post people or in transition by our guards. But then against Sioux Falls, they kind of surprised us and started off the game in zone. And it's the first time this year that we got behind early in the game, and I felt like we lost our patience against the zone and took some quick shots and missed a lot of quick shots, and that just kind of, you know, that's what a zone wants you to do, and we kind of played into their hands and had to play from behind all night long, and foul trouble was kind of a hindrance to us, and we didn't shoot the ball well from the perimeter. And against Southwest, we had 22 turnovers, but we shot the ball extremely well, 62% from the field, so we were able to overcome that. Against Sioux Falls, we only had 7 turnovers, which is great, but we only shot in the mid-30s percentage-wise, so we just got to put both of them together. And Sioux Falls had a lot to do with us, you know, being out of sync and taking us out of our comfort zone, and I give them credit for that. But you know, we learned a lot from that game, and we're going to work on it today and tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday in practice, because other teams may try to play us a lot of zone if they see that bothered us, and we've got to get comfortable with that just as much as we are with man-to-man.
2 games last weekend, 2 impressive performances by a couple of newcomers. Alexis Foley against Southwest scored 27 points, and then 22 points and 10 rebounds on Saturday for Kayla Timmerman. Talk about what those 2 new players have meant to the team.
Well, you know, we have, you know, several players that are capable of having a big night any night. A lot of times it just comes down to you know, style of play and who's getting the best looks and that sort of thing. And Alexis got a lot of her scores Friday night against Southwest in transition, and they were trying to guard everybody hard, kind of like Upper Iowa did, and so she recognized that and did a good job of driving hard to the rim and got 3 or 4 and ones. But then the next night, playing against Sioux Falls, Kayla Timmerman, she stepped out and made several shots against the zone, and it's not necessarily the way that we have drawn up to attack the zone, but they turned her loose and she knocked down some shots. And but defensively, I felt like our team had a lot of breakdowns against Sioux Falls, and they're a good team. They're 7-0, not because they're lucky, but you know, they start a lot of returners from a year ago, and our post defense had a lot of breakdowns, and then we had occasional breakdown on the perimeter and gave up a 3, and that's what really energizes them. And so, you know, we're frustrated with how we performed defensively, and then had an off night shooting the ball to go along with that. It's not a good, you know, combination. But we'll play them again in a month and a half, and I'm sure that we'll play them much better than we did Saturday.
Yeah, well, 2 good tests for your Warriors last weekend. As you mentioned earlier, 2 even bigger tests this weekend. Later in the week, we'll stop back and talk more about Mankato game and the Concordia St. Paul game. But before that, we're going to talk to Connor Nagel a little bit later this week, one of the leaders for the Winona State women's basketball team.